Today we're gonna look at the weirdest mana ramp that there exists in Magic the Gathering. And we're gonna start off with the Outcaster Trailblazer. This is a green 2 generic 4/2 human druid. However, okay, in addition to all this other stuff that it does, you know, whenever another creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card. That's good stuff. You get to plot it, which is actually important here. For a green 2 generic, you plot it, and then you can play it for free on your next turn. See, when Outcaster Trailblazer enters the battlefield, you add 1 mana of any color. So, effectively, what that means is that when this thing comes into play, you get mana ramp. It's almost like a ritual. And the whole thing about plotting it is that you pay 3 mana, and then you can save this mana source for next turn. You play it for free next turn. You have your 3 lands that you played with the Outcaster Trailblazer, plus you get the extra mana when it enters the battlefield. You have 4 mana available to cast your even larger creatures. So we're looking today for the most unconventional ways that we actually build up mana. And Alex says the Bog Witch. Ooh, I think I know what you're talking about. Is this the Ritual Witch? It is the Ritual Witch. The black 2 generic 1/1 human Spell Shaper. For a black tap, discard a card, add black, black, black to your mana pool. They say, some people say Dark Ritual is broken. Maybe the best ritual in the game. Well, what's better than a Dark Ritual 1 turn when you can have Dark Ritual every single turn? In fact, you give Dark Ritual your Bog Witch into play, so that you can play Dark Ritual for basically the rest of the game. Good morning, Alex. Anyway, good morning, Alex. Good morning, Balder. Good morning, Cerise. On an actual morning today. Not on our usual schedule because I have a tournament to go to. All right, another one, Runaway Steamkin. Runaway Steamkin is a red 1 generic 1/1 elemental. Now, when you cast a red spell, if Runaway Steamkin has fewer than 3 +1/+1 counters on it, you put a +1/+1 counter on your Runaway Steamkin. So it gets bigger, but you can also cash those counters in. You remove 3 +1/+1 counters from the Runaway Steamkin, and you add 3 red mana to your mana pool. I actually hated this card more than anything because of its mana ramp. When I was playing against this in on Arena and Historic, when Historic first came out. Or maybe it was even Standard. This was such a powerhouse. Cast spell, cast spell, cast spell. It's like 2 mana for a 4 power creature. And then randomly you can get 3 red mana to play your Goblin Chain Whirler or more removal spells. Yeah, I was not a fan about the Runaway Steamkin. The red players, on the other hand, they absolutely loved it. Okay, Cerise with the Leaking Druid. Hopefully, leaking or leading? Can't find any. Leaking Druid? I've never heard of this card, but I can't find it. Anyway, sorry about that, Cerise. We need a more specific. Oh, sorry, the Leafkin. The Leafkin. Okay, that one I can believe. Okay, the Leafkin Druid. So it's 2 mana for a 0/3. Tap, add a green. If you control 4 more creatures, add double green instead. And this is not that weird, to be honest. I'm going to disqualify that. It's got to be. It can't be your conventional, I mean, okay, maybe I'll give it a little bit of something. It's not 2 mana, add a green. It's actually 2 mana, add double if you control 4 more creatures. Usually it's if you add a green for each creature you control, something to that effect. Why is it a threshold 4 creatures and we add double green? You know what? I am actually going to make this pass. It's actually sort of it's a weird mana dork in that there's this high threshold to get more mana, and I don't even think it's that good once you even get there. It's a bad dork. Okay, we got Pedgeman with Magus of the Vineyard. We got a green 1/1 human wizard. At the beginning of each player's pre-combat main phase, add green to that player's mana pool. We all get mana! And then chaos shall ensue. Each player's pre-combat main phase. Yeah, this is a way of ramping the game. You know what? This plus, thinking, Maybe that mana burn card. But no one's going to get mana burned off of this thing. Everyone's just going to use their mana. This is a way to... This is like... I don't know how to... This is like telling everybody at the table we can play like 2 lands a turn. Because that's how this game is going to feel. Because we just ramped everyone up with the Magus of the Vineyard. Here's some green mana for free. Mana for all. Your mana screwed? You missed your land drops? That's okay. Magus of the Vineyard will fix you up. You're not wrong, George. Channel. This is weird. But it's even weirder is this is one of the first. This is like one of the first cards ever printed in the game. A green sorcery. Until end of turn, anytime you could activate a mana ability, you may pay 1 life. And if you do, you add colorless to your mana pool. Pay 19 life, get 19 colorless mana. And it's banned everywhere. It's even restricted in Timeless. Wow, this is a Timeless card. This card was broken upon release, and it's still broken today. You know, what's funny is a lot of... I'm not going to... Like, the Power 9 is still pretty broken, but it's funny how a lot of... Over time, some broken cards become completely obsolete. Some broken cards still broken. All right, next up, we've got... Ooh, Balder has a super chat for us. Thank you very much, Balder. Classic Coffee Crew Hours, The Rite of Flame. No, that one doesn't. That's just a ritual. We need weirder ways to add mana, in my opinion. It's a ritual. I'm going to donate this one, Balder. So, conventional ways of adding mana is you spend mana to get a ritual, or you pay, or you get a mana dork in play, and that mana dork taps for mana. Those are like the most conventional ways, or like you search your library for a land and put it onto the battlefield. So we want some like really weird ways of ramping up the game. We gotta think outside the box here. And Frank has decided with the Braid of Fire. Braid of Fire, 2 mana enchantment. See, commutative upkeep, add red to your mana pool. This card still looks absolutely ridiculous to me. It's rising in price. You know, it's like a $15 card. Every single turn, you're gonna have like more and more red mana. Red, double red, triple red, quadruple red. Now the cost back then was mana burn. You know, but today the mana burn doesn't exist. You have as much. Too much of a good thing isn't necessarily a bad thing when it comes to mana. The only downside is it has to be played during your upkeep, so you can only use this for activated abilities on your creatures and basically instants. Because there's like no other way to use this mana. So make sure you have a lot of instants in your deck, so you can instantly turn your opponents into absolute dust. Okay, Julian. The land aid 04? What does that mean? Land... Oh. What is with these silver border cards? You love silver border. Green, land aid, sorcery. Search your library for a basic land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped. Then then shuffle your library. If you sang a song during the whole time you're searching up your library, you may untap that land. The only thing unconventional about this card is the singing part. Other than that, that is actually a conventional way of looking for mana. That is a very conventional ramp. Okay. Training grounds can... I don't know if I would consider training grounds ramp. It's like just it's just discount. It's just discount. Okay, okay, Boulder wants to redeem themselves. Nykthos! You know what? Nykthos, I actually can get behind Nykthos. I can get behind Nykthos better than the last one. I know it's not very original, but it's my last shot. So this only adds 1 mana to your mana pool, normally. But if we have an entire team, if we're all the same color, choose a color. I choose green, I guess. Add your mana pool and an amount of mana of that color equal to your devotion to that color. That is it's very popular mana ramp. It's very popular weird mana ramp. It was very weird at the time, but I actually enjoyed this card very much. Okay, next up, Apocalypse, the Mana Geyser. What does that mean? Like the mana is just spewing out of a volcano? We got so much mana. Oh, this is not... I need the English one. Okay, Mana Geyser. Red, 3 generic. Sorcery. Add red for each tapped land your opponents control. That is quite... So it's like quite the circumstance that needs to be met in order to get your mana. But you know, your opponent... This is actually a great commander card. I can totally see people having... Okay, you tap 5, you tap 5, you tap 7. Okay, I'd love to add, what is that? 13 mana to my mana pool. And with that 13 mana, I shall cast some sort of Emrakul. Perhaps the ones that steal everybody's creatures. Okay, next up, we've got Cerise. Huge super chat. Thanks so much, Cerise. Missed the morning coffee crew streams. Would Awakening Zone count? Oh, that's a good one. I don't know why this is such an unpopular card these days. I loved this card. It's a green 2 generic enchantment. It effectively says every turn you get, like, sort of a Lotus Petal. But this Lotus Petal comes in the form of a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature token that only sacks for colorless. This is the fair treasure tokens. Everything should have just been Eldrazi spawns, if you ask me. Although I guess those can block. Some problems with that too. But yeah, that is a very, very weird form of ramp. It's also very slow, but you know what? It's incremental. Just need a bunch of Awakening Zones on the battlefield. We'll be casting them Eldrazi's in no time. Rugal with Bigger on the inside. Bigger on the inside is a 5-mana aura, enchant artifact or land. Enchanted permanent has tap target player adds 2 mana of any one color. It's not even necessarily you. The next spell they cast this turn has Cascade. That is very weird. I don't even... What is the point of this? Is the point of this card the Cascade, or is the point of the card the mana ramp? It's just a little mishmash of both of these. That's what we need. We need more Cascade in this game. We need to ramp into our Cascade with the Bigger on the inside. What is that thing called? I don't watch Doctor Who. I really don't know. I don't understand the lore nearly enough. Okay, next up. Just a random mage with the Treasure Nabber. Just need a way to sacrifice artifacts once you are done with them. Okay. So we have a 3-mana 3/2 Goblin Rogue. Whenever an opponent taps an artifact for mana, gain control of that artifact until end of your next turn. Oh my good, that is so bizarre. This is... Taps an artifact for mana. Actually, do you know what the hardest part is? It's trying to get someone to actually tap their artifacts for mana. No, God, they know once they... Well, I guess the deal is they know they're going to get it back. So you get to keep it until the end of the next turn. Okay, so it's only temporary. They still have, like, some reason to tap their artifacts. So you're going to get it. The police box is called a TARDIS. That's what I was looking for. The TARDIS. This is very strange mana ramp. Okay, Julio. Does oh god, Omnath. Yes, it absolutely counts. Omnath, Locus of Creation. Oh no, you want Locus of All? Okay, I was thinking of Locus of Creation. So let's get both of these. So Locus of Creation is a 4-mana card. It's got Landfall. It's actually got like triple Landfall. Landfall 1. As something enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life. But with the... If another land enters the battlefield, you add 4 mana of any color to your mana pool. Sorry, not any color. You get blue, white, green, and red. Almost any color. Blacklist Wooburg. And then, of course, the triple landfall, deal 4 damage to each planeswalker you don't control and each opponent. Okay, you wanted Locus of All, though. If you lose unspent mana, that mana becomes black instead. It's gone to the dark side. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card, and if it has 3 or more colored mana symbols in its mana cost, if you do, add 3 mana in any combination of its colors, and put it into your hand. If you don't reveal it, you still put it in your hand anyway. That's a lot of value. A lot of value. These Omnaths. Oh, the Omnath. Omnath is a pretty weird dude. And therefore would make weird mana ramp. Frankie. With the Apex of Power. Apex, what the hell? 7. What do you need mana ramp at this point for? We have a 10 mana sorcery. Exile the top 7 cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may cast spells from among them. If the spell was cast from your hand, add 10 mana of any one color. Oh, that is just bizarre. They're like, okay, you're gonna have all these cards. I don't know how you're gonna cast them. All right, we have to just give you a bunch of mana, I guess. It's the only way that's gonna work around here. Rugal, how am I supposed to be able to work while you're watching this live? You can't. That's the problem. You can't, Rugal. You gotta tell your boss, I'm sorry, I'm watching Coffee and MTG right now. It's funny, this used to be the normal time for Coffee and MTG until we moved it to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay, West Coast Games with the Guy's Touch. Thank you very much, Rugal. Because of your super chat, West Coast Games gets a suggestion. Guy's Touch is a 2-mana enchantment. You may play an additional land during your turn if that land is a basic forest, so no other lands allowed. Sacrifice the Guy's Torch. You add double green to your mana pool. All right, so we have like, it's like exploration for forests, only forests, and it's like randomly you can sacrifice your exploration for extra green mana. Pretty weird. Okay, Christopher B with the Pygmy Hippopotamus, which is a blue-green 2/2 hippopotamus. If Pygmy Hippopotamus attacks and is not blocked, you may choose to have it deal no combat damage this turn. All right, we're in the friend zone. If you do, defending player draws all mana from their lands, and then his or her mana pool is emptied after combat. Add an equal amount of colorless mana to your mana pool. Okay, that is weird mana ramp. Your lands are now my lands. It's like mana short, if anyone knows what that card is. It's a weird mana shorting card. Okay, next up. Oh, Waste Not from Rockboy. That is very weird mana ramp. A 2-mana enchantment. So, you play this in a discard deck. You want to make your opponent discard all the cards in their hand. Maybe you want Wheel of Fortune in such a deck. Whenever an opponent discards a creature card, you get a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Now, whenever an opponent discards a land card, you add double black to your mana pool. That's a lot of mana, especially if they make you discard your entire hand. Whenever an opponent discards a non-creature, non-land card, they cash in and draw a card. Very, very interesting. And you know what? It's so weird. People really try the hardest to pull this off. Actually works in Pioneer. There's actually a competitive Waste Not deck in Pioneer. Okay, thanks so much, Balder, with your super chat. Last super chat for today. Good luck at your competition. Path of Annihilation. You know what? I did so well in my last competition. I still have the trophy here staring me in my face. With my trophy sitting right beside me. I have other trophies, but this one's my favorite. Okay, Path of Annihilation. We got a 4-mana enchantment, Devoid. When Path of Annihilation enters the battlefield, create 2 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens. With sacrifice this creature, add colorless to your mana pool. Eldrazi you control have tap. And the Eldrazi's now turn into like mana dorks. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. They all turn into Birds of Paradise. Whenever you cast a creature spell, mana value 7 or greater, you gain 4 life. This is the card that turns all Eldrazi spawns into Birds of Paradise. Actually, not even the spawns, all Eldrazi. All Eldrazi will become bird. They're evolving backwards. Everything started off as like... Well, hold on, I don't know how everything started to evolve. I guess everything was a dinosaur that turned into a bird that maybe turned into an Eldrazi back to a bird. Okay, Spewlighter, energy tap. Tap into that energy. We got, it's a blue sorcery. Tap target creature you control, add an amount of colorless mana equal to that creature's casting cost to your mana pool. This is certainly a very, very unconventional way of adding mana. But yeah, blue mana ramp. Blue ritual. Maybe the only blue ritual in the game? I think it's the only blue ritual. The only mono blue one, anyhow. Okay, Algod asks, might Soul Performer count? It might. Soul Performer. Is this a legal card? Is that not an acorn in the box over here? Okay, add double tap. Activate only once each turn. What the hell does that mean? Well, activating an ability, use tap rather than tapping the permanent to pay for tap. I do know what it counts, but this is an illegal card. It's funny how all the unset cards start showing up when we talk about really weird stuff in Magic the Gathering. Nicholas with the spell Swindle. Sounds like a counter spell. Oh, you look at that. It is a counterspell. The 5-mana instant. Counter target spell and create X treasure tokens, where X is that spell's mana value. How does everyone love treasures? They made treasures into the game. It's basically Lotus Petal. And now they're just everywhere. Make X Lotus Petals. It's such an unconventional way of making, or sorry, it's become such a standardized way of, like, making mana in the game. And you can store it for later. King Ginger, thank you very much for your super chat. The Colossal Plow. Mr. Plow, that's my name. My name again is Mr. Plow. And it is a plow. Where's the Ox? Okay, we have a 2-mana 6/3 vehicle. When it attacks, you add triple white to your mana pool. It's like the White Dark Ritual. And you gain 3 life. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. It is the Holy Mana. The Holy Mana is with us forever. Crew 6. I think, isn't there like a 0/6 Ox or something that says like, I think there's an Ox. I swear it goes with this thing. And it can vehicle stuff. Where's the Ox? Yeah, Giant Ox. A Giant Ox crews vehicles using its toughness rather than its power. The Ox is plowing the field. That's a flavor win for today. Okay, next up, we've got Epic Nage with the Sword of Animist. Oh, we got a 2-mana legendary equipment. Gets +1/+1. And whenever a equipped creature attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle your library. It is weird. We have mana ramp on a equipment. It's highly unusual. Okay, next super chat coming from Meme Bruley. Thank you very much for your super chat. The Roshin. The Roaring Prophet. This is a 4-mana 4/4. At first I thought she got no arms. Like, there's just elbow stubs here, but no, those are her fists. Short arm. It's just the perspective. All right, Giant Shaman. When Roshin Roaring Prophet enters the battlefield, mill 6 cards. You may put a card with X in its mana cost from among them into your hand. Tap reveal any number of cards with X in their mana cost in your hand, and add double colorless for each card revealed this way. Spend this mana only on costs that contain X. This reminds me of Metalworker. Reveal any number of cards with X in their mana cost, and you add this. It literally is Metalworker. Except not for artifacts, it's for X mana spells. We need a lot of, and we need more mana for those X mana spells. You want to burn people down with Earthquake, you need Roshin. Roshin will get the job done. Okay, we got Tea House. Sakashima's Prodigy. This is 6 mana. She's looking at me really creepily for a 3/1 shapeshifter with Flash. Now, it's also Cascade. You may have Sakashima's Prodigy enter the battlefield as a copy of any permanent that entered the battlefield this turn. What do you like? You want this to be like a land? So we're gonna copy a land with this thing. 6 mana for a singular land. That's bad value. So bad. But it works. Okay, next up, we've got Baldur lied. Said it was going to be the last super chat. It's not the last. They got inspired by Mana Drain. Okay, now you're done. That's what they always say. They're done for today, but then they're back the next day. Okay, we're blue for an instant. Counter target spell at the beginning of your next main phase and an amount of colorless equal to that spell's mana value. There, I love this card. I wish this was legal in Legacy, but at the same time, it's probably broken in Legacy. Maybe. 2-mana counterspell is very expensive, though. I mean, we don't see 2-mana counterspell in Legacy. It's just like Pyroblast or Hydroblast, Blue Elemental Blast, Daze, Force Will, Force of Negation. Gotta be like free or 1 mana. This is 2 mana. We need to make 2 mana, counterspells playable in Legacy somehow. This is the only one that would meet the bar, probably, maybe. Stormwind with red mana battery. This is a 4 mana artifact. Pay 2, tap, put a charge counter. Ah, yes, the charge counter cards. Almost stone cold unplayable. Tap, add a red to your mana pool and remove as many charge counters as you wish for each charge counter removed from red mana battery. Add a red to your mana pool. Play this ability as an interrupt. I think the argument is Cascade equals ramp. Well, in that case, that would be disqualified. But you can turn the card into any permanent, so it's literally 6 mana. It's like 6 mana, get a land out of your deck for that Cascade creature. Oh, cascading into a Soul Ring definitely always feels good. Okay, K's with Yadora. Grave Gardener, though. Ramp by getting board wiped. Really? 5 mana for a 5/5 Tree Folk Druid. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control as a basic forest. Or, sorry, it's a forest land. So it taps for green. Everything's a Dryad armor. Just be very careful getting board wiped the second time. Then they're really cooked. They're cooked and they're never coming back again. So you're like, board wipe me all you want. If you board wipe, you will make me more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Ben Kenobi to Darth Vader. That's what Yadora is. Okay, King Ginger here, hot with the super chats. Caught of the hammer. Koth gonna slam that hammer. It's a 4 mana 3 loyalty Koth. +1, untap target mountain. It becomes a 4/4 red elemental creature until end of turn, and it's still land, but it's got -2. Add red to your mana pool for each mountain you control, drawing the power of the mountains. And also, it also has a -5. You get an emblem with you tap a mountain, it deals 1 damage to what, any target? Target creature or player? Sorry, not any target. Is it any target now? No, it's any target. It's been errated to any target. Because any creature or players at the time could have been planeswalkers. There was a time planeswalkers were considered like a player. You target a player, you redirect it to the planeswalker. What a silly era we used to live in. Okay, next we got Ulrich, Bootlegger Stash. Isn't this like this was supposed to be amazing and it just sort of fell like ultra flat? Okay, 6 mana artifact. Lands you control have tap. Create a treasure token. Yeah, that is an unconventional way to make mana. I guess the problem with this card is it's pretty expensive. So you're like, the turn that it comes into play, you did absolutely nothing. Next turn, you're not even gonna net any mana because you have to tap you could have just tapped your lands for like regular mana, but instead you're tapping them to create treasure tokens. So I guess the downside of this card is you're like taking 2 turns off. And it doesn't even trigger off of like Soul Ring or Mana Crypt. You literally have to do it old-fashioned lands. Bootlegger Stash was the most obvious Timmy trap of the last few years. They trap many Timmys. And they'll trap some more. But it's still good at... It might take a while, but it's the most effective way to cast Eldrazi's. You just gotta store away your mana. Alright, you heard the music. That means it's time to thank our sponsors. FusionGamingOnline.com. Bloomborough spoilers are coming out hot and heavy. You like them squirrels, you like them weasels, frogs, mice. You might want to go buy some Bloomborough cards. Pre-order them at FusionGamingOnline.com. Deal of the week this week is save 15% off select magic foils. So if you're a foil fiend, you like shiny stuff, maybe right now is the time to get that 15% off those foil cards you've been looking at. And in addition to that, use coupon code Nikachu at checkout to get 5% off everything at checkout. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. Play the digital format online to play Standard, Modern, Pioneer, Legacy, Vintage, Commander. Basically all your favorite paper formats because it's got the entire card pool of Magic Online on Magic Online. That should be a saying. Play all the cards online. They've got all the cards online on Magic Online. You can support the channel renting from Mana Traders using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_IEP. IEP to rent all the cards for a monthly subscription. Okay, where are we? We're at Bootlegger's Stash. Technically show it and tell is ramp because Dryad Arbor still exists. I am not counting that one. Okay, what do we... Who has not got a card here? We got my guy! Metamorphosis. Is a low-key banger. I need actual Metamorphosis. It's a low-key banger with Delve creatures. Green sorcery. Sack a creature to add an amount of mana equal to its casting cost +1 your mana pool. This mana may be of any one color. Use this mana only to cast summon spells. That's right. You delve creatures. You use the graveyard to put big creatures into play, and then you just sack them for actual mana. Stormwind. I used Defile of Vigor when I play Magic Arena to ramp. Defiler. To ramp out extra things per turn with my big mana dorks that add mana equal to their power. Okay, this is a 5 mana 6/6 Phyrexian worm creature. Trample. As an additional cost to cast green permanent spells, you may pay 2 life. Those spells cost green less to cast if you paid life this way. This effect reduces only the amount of green mana you pay. Whenever you cast a green permanent spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So the as an additional cost to cast a green permanent, we pay 2 life, and then those spells cost green less to cast if you paid life this way. This effect, it's actually not really ramp, is it? Can we consider this ramp? It's like some weird cost reducer. Well, no, not really. We're basically exchanging life for green. It doesn't explicitly say so, but basically we are paying 2 life to add green mana to our mana pool to pay for the mana spells of the green in the mana cost of spells. So you know what? I will barely let this pass. What else can I say? It's a weird way to ramp into creatures. There's no other better way to explain it. Next up, who did we... Okay, Dan. Have we done Carnival of Souls yet? Not yet. Okay, we got a 2-mana enchantment. Whenever a creature comes into play, you lose 1 life and you add 1 black mana. It's painful, but they'll help pay for the future. They'll help pay for future creatures to be cast. King Ginger with a super chat. Xenagos the Reveler. Yeah, Xenagos is like... Here, let's just... Oh, this... I was thinking of the other one. I guess a lot of Xenagoses add mana. Okay, 4 mana, +1, add X mana in any combination of red or green, where X is the number of creatures you control. It's almost like Gaia's Cradle on the creature. Also pay 0, crit a 2/2 red and green Satyr with haste. And also -6, exile the top 7 cards of your library. You may put any number of creature and or land cards from among them on the battlefield. Do you know, honestly, Lotus Guardian is not weird. It is just a very expensive mana dork. And it's pretty bad for that reason. It's pretty bad. Okay, Abso. Ramos. The Dragon Engine. Who is Ramos? Okay, here's the Dragon Engine. Okay, 6 mana for a 4/4 flying. Oh, this is like the run. This is the really running away with the game Steamkin, if you ask me. Okay, flying. Whenever you cast a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Ramos, Dragon Engine, for each of that spell's colors. Remove 5 +1/+1 counters. Add double Wooburg to your mana pool. Activate this ability only once each turn. Oh yeah, that's great. So it's like a fair Runaway Steamkin. You see, Runaway Steamkin can keep going on for forever. Ramos only get 1 shot, but like I assume you're just gonna win the game at that point. I think you're just gonna win the game. Cerise, I saw someone mention Path to Exile. Yes, the secret mode of Path to Exile is targeting your own creature to get a land in play. Exile target creature. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card. Put that card onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. I think this was a pretty common mode versus control decks a long time ago, because the control deck may not have like any creatures to target, period. So if they try to go after your creature, you might, like with a lightning helix or something, you're like, well, I don't want you to gain life off of lightning helix. I'll just path to exile my creature and ramp and prevent your life gain. So it was basically a win-win all around. Next up, Bulky with the Witch Engine. Dark Ritual at home. For 6 mana. 6 mana, 4/4 Swamp Walk. Well, at least we have Swamp Walk. Tap to add quadruple black to your mana pool. That's insane. Target opponent gains control of Witch Engine. Oh, well, that's an absolute bummer. Yeah, so it's like a weird mana dork that you lose. Appears that it is King Ginger's payday today. Thank you very much, King Ginger, for squandered resources. Squandered resources, a black-green enchantment. Sacrifice a land to add to your mana pool 1 mana of any type that sacrificed land could produce. Talk about killing the golden goose to get all the eggs at once. It's like basically you tap all your lands and then you sacrifice, and that's it. And that's exactly what this person is thinking. It's like, what have I done? You've squandered your resources, perhaps? King Ginger's like, it's payday. Okay, Turiot with Insidious Roots. Isn't that a new one? Oh, like newish. Okay, it's a black-green enchantment. Creature tokens you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. And whenever one or more creature cards leave your graveyard, you get a plant token, a 0/1 plant. And then put a +1/+1 counter on each plant you control. That's a lot of value for 2 mana. Make just tons of creatures that get out of, tons of creatures that add mana and buff themselves at the same time. Okay, next up. Let's look at Vrankin with Bergi, God of Storytelling. This is a 3 mana 3/3 god. Whenever you cast a spell, add a red mana. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Creatures you control can boast twice during each of your turns. I can't remember. Does the other side add mana? Discard a card? No. But this side does. It's big mana all the time. Oh, look at that. Look who's back. It's Balder with Rot Boy. Oh, hold on. Is this the Rot Boy is not the card. You're donating for Rot Boy. Curious Homunculus. Thanks for the demon card. I don't know what the demon card is in reference to. Is Rot Boy in chat? There's Rot Boy. Oh, there's Rot Boy. So a donation for Rot Boy. Hold on, where are you? Chat keeps like flipping and flopping on me. There we go. Rot Boy's happy. Okay, we got 2 mana, 1/1. Tap out a colorless to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast instant or sorcery spells. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 3 or more instant or sorcery spells, we get to flip-flop our homunculus as prowess. And instant sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Honestly, this is just like regular, it's like a regular mana dork. I would not consider this that weird. The only thing weird about it is it's like a blue creature tapping for mana. That is very unusual. Okay, whatever, we'll count it. It's not that crazy. It's not that crazy. Rot Boy's like, I know. Okay, we got the Deviland, the Manaseism. Sorry, Manaseism. Already mentioned? No, actually. We got a 2 mana sorcery. Sacrifice any number of lands. Add 1 your mana pool for each land sacrificed this way. That is the true that is another squandered resources. Yeah, this is definitely very squandering what little we have. Like, you gotta win the game. Imagine, okay, Manaseism, add a bunch of mana. Kozilek, counterspell. Well, Well, that's it. You know what? I'm just gonna scoop in response to that because it was a big risk. I knew I was taking a risk. Big risk, big reward, and it just didn't pan out this time. So sucks for me. Okay, next up. Steve Cooper also had a payday today. I forgot we're doing this early show. You know who doesn't forget? The YouTube notification bell. All right, let's donate 3 to chat. Let's do that, Steve Cooper. First donation goes to my guy. Does Dream Halls count? Probably not. Let's take a look. 5 mana. Rather than pay the mana cost for a spell its controller may discard a card. No, that does not. That does not mana ramp with me. It's just spell that shared. Yeah, that does not mana ramp with me. Julio, Realm Breaker, the Invasion Tree. This is a 3-mana legendary artifact. Pay 2, tap. Target opponent mills 3 cards. Put a land card from their graveyard onto the battlefield, tapped under your control. It gains. If this land would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere. Pay 10, tap, sacrifice Realm Breaker, the Invasion Tree. Search your library for any number of Praetor cards, put onto the battlefield, then shuffle. So hold on. How is target opponent mills 3 cards, put a land card. So we're swiping their lands by milling. We mill. And then we rebuild to some degree. Christopher Grove, reset, an old card. We love old cards. We love old cards we forgot exist. Blue instant, cast reset only during an opponent's turn after the upkeep step. Untap all lands you control. That's very interesting, blue. Wow, this card's expensive. Is this even... it's not even a reserveless card. It's like a $31 card. They could reprint that at any moment. I think most people forgot this card exists. And to be honest, I did not even know it exists. It's a very funny mana ramp. Teamer's like, I think the weirdest mana ramp is Soul Ring, mainly because it is legal in Commander, and people argue so much how weird it is. Yeah, but it's not that unconventional for this show. Not to mention, people, it's been institutionalized into the game. I mean, we just know it always exists. Dan Van Reason, I really like the Thran Turbine. Include X. The 1-mana artifact. During your upkeep, you may add up to 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. This mana cannot be spent to place spells. Oh, so it needs to be spent on activated abilities, which can be used on those clues. That's big brain. That's big brain thinking over there. Your clues are basically free. Turning clues into basically just card draw. Straight up card draw. Well, who hasn't got a card? Chaos Fellow with the Altar of Shadows. It's a 7-mana artifact. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add a black to your mana pool for each charge counter on the Altar of Shadows. Add a black your mana for each charge counter. So we need more charge counters. How do we get charge counters? Pay 7, tap, destroy target creature. Then put a charge counter of Altar of Shadows. I don't know what we're ramping up to at this point. We got 7 mana to cast the Altar of Shadows. We had 7 mana to activate Altar of Shadows. What more mana do we need? We need 20 mana. I haven't forgotten anybody's super chats. Steve Cooper donated 3 super chats, so we had to get through 3 people that had legal suggestions. Okay, and there's also a lot of super chats to go to, so you have to wait your turn. We're going with King Ginger. Last one, Cadaverous Bloom. Cadaverous Bloom. Cadaverous. Okay, it blooms. It's a cheatsy card. Because Mike Long played with this card to cheat people. I can't remember. I think that was in his lap. Okay, it's a black-green 3 generic enchantment. Choose a card in your hand and remove it from the game. That black, or green to your mana pool. Play this ability only as a mana source. This is a thumbnail of a previous video. Absolutely. Kalos Fellow is like, if you activate your Altar of Shadows enough, you can play it for free. How did the game get that long? I don't know, maybe with, what's it called, a hardened scales in play, you can double the charge counters, because you double your, or no, or is it just +1/+1 counters? There's probably some card out there that doubles your counters. Well, proliferate, of course. Yeah, proliferate 13 times to break even. That's right. Okay, next up, who do we have? Dinglebag, Roshin. Yoshin Minder. This is a 4-mana 4/4 giant shaman. Tap to add quadruple colorless to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast, sorry, only on costs that contain X. It's only the X mana spells. Must be a popular card, I would think. Okay, next card come from John. The Scourge Familiar. In EDH, it danger. That's a hot. You can't just throw that out there, John. You can't just throw out the it danger like that. 5 mana for a 3/2 flying. Discard a card, add a black to your mana pool. Oh, it's like this gigantic madness enabler. Not to mention you can just dump your hand. How would that work? Anyway, I don't know how to break this, but I believe you. Next up, Old Boy, Doubling Cube. Double or nothing. 2 mana, artifact, pay 3 tap. Double the amount of each type of mana in your mana pool. We're gonna need a lot of mana. We need mana to spend on this, plus then double the mana that we have in our mana pool. So we need at least 7 lands in play, effectively. Okay, Rugal with the Rousing Refrain. It's a 5-mana sorcery. Add a red for each card in target opponent's hand. Oh, that's pretty wild. You know, you go a Wheel of Fortune and then follow that up with the Rousing Refrain. You don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Like, what is even the point of, like, you know, losing your mana between phases if all these cards now don't let you lose your mana? I bet somewhere deep in the game, 20 years from now, they're just going to say, you know what, you just don't lose your mana. Float your mana for many turns. And that'll probably open up some design space because you can like just basically ramp with whatever mana you have in play. It'd be an interesting rules change, to be honest. Be able to float your mana into next turns. It would really help with people who are like mana screwed. Okay, until end of turn, you don't lose the mana. Exile Rousing Refrain with 3 times the counters on it, and you can also suspend it for 3. Imagine if we could all float our mana between steps and phases going into the next turn. Jude, Tezzeret the Seeker's -X. Okay, they said, I said that, Tezzeret the Seeker, right? Pretty sure I know which one this is. We said that Sol Ring is not that weird of mana ramp, but it is weird when it's combined with Tezzeret the Seeker, a 5-mana 4 loyalty Seeker. Also is sort of mana ramp, +1 untap up to 2 target artifacts, which could be Sol Ring, could be your mana crypt, and -X. Search your library for an artifact card with a converted mana cost X or less, put it onto the battlefield, and shuffle your library. That could be, oh, you could even go -0, get mana crypt. -0, -1 for Sol Ring, -2 for Grim Monolith, Basalt Monolith. Tezzeret the Seeker does it all. Parabox says, isn't there a card that makes the mana you produce from any source to be the mana of your choice? I have no idea. Probably. You're probably right. Marcos. Birchlore Rangers. Elves sometimes make mana in mysterious ways. Green 1/1. Tap 2 untapped elves you control to add 1 mana in any color in your mana pool. They don't actually add mana themselves, but combined together, they'll find some mana. They'll forage for it. Who? Okay, Belle is like, Nikachu, I'm late! It's okay, you're never late. You're here just on time. Fangorn. The Tree Shepherd. Has it been done? No, it has not been done. This is a... We need mana. We need weird mana ramp to get this weird 7-mana creature in play. 7 mana for a 4/10. Tree folk you control have vigilance, but whenever one or more tree folk you control attack, you add twice that green mana. What on earth can you even use in combat for that green. Oh, you don't lose unspent green mana as steps and phases end. Again, we store the mana. We're going to keep it under our mattress, people. Okay, what's under your mattress? Green mana. And a lot of it. I'm storing it. You never know what's going to happen out there in the world. Could be a nuclear fallout. We need to store all our green mana. Okay, Dinte, Axebane Guardian. 3 mana for a 0/3 with Defender. Tap, add X mana in any combination of colors to your mana pool where X is the number of creatures with Defender you control. Get more Defenders out. With many Defenders adds more mana to get more Defenders. Next super chat come from Stormwind. Not weird, but Overflowing Chalice was my first one. You're right. Overflowing Chalice. I will present it so I can disqualify it. Overflowing. Is it overflowing or is it over? Is it Overflowing Chalice? It's not Overflowing Chalice. It's something else, right? So over something. I'm gonna put over Chalice. Or is it Flowing Chalice? Ever-flowing Chalice. Hey, ever-flowing. The overflow. It might as well be called Overflowing. Anyway, this is just like a mana rock. Okay. So we're gonna donate this one to Bryce. Galazath Prismari. This is a 4 mana 3/4 Elder Dragon with flying. Enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. All right, we got our treasure. We got our ramp. And artifacts you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. That's weird. The artifacts have turned into Birds of Paradise. Spend this mana only to cast an instant or sorcery spell. Okay. Only for instants and sorceries. Okay, what have we not done yet? My guy, Pygmy Hippo. I think we did we do the Pygmy Hippo? We did Pygmy something. Doesn't really work without mana burn. Yeah, we did that. We did this one. Chromatic Orrery. Oh, I was thinking of the other Orrery. 7 mana. You may spend mana as over mana of any color. Tap at a bazillion mana. Pay 5 tap. Draw a card for your draw a card for each color among permanents you control. Actually, I gotta disqualify. This is just like this is just like a suit. It's just a mana rock. It's a very big, glorious mana rock. I don't think there's anything weird about this at all. Joel, does Upwelling count? Does it have Up Dog? Okay, we have a green 3 generic enchantment. Mana pools don't empty at the end of turns and phase. Yeah, I'm gonna count this. So you can float mana. And that's like mana ramp. I'm gonna count that big time. I like that. I like that suggestion a lot. Okay, Ryan, did the oh, I think we did Defiler of Vigor. It's just a green Carrick. Defiler of... Oh, you're just saying it's a green Carrick. You're making the statement. You're right. All right, we're gonna donate it. We'll donate to Medusa with Celestis. The Celestis. Okay, 3 mana. If it's neither day nor night, oh god, these cards. It becomes day as the Celestis enters the battlefield. Add 1 mana of any color. Pay 3, tap. If it's night, it becomes day. Otherwise, it becomes night. Activate only as a sorcery. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, you gain 1 life. You draw a card, and if you do, you discard a card. Actually, just adds mana. It's just a big, clunky mana rock. Disqualify that one. Sorry about that, Medusa. Is it Colored Dragon? Is it? Yeah, that's right. Islarf, Yadora, the Grave Gardener. Oh, we did that one. Okay, Wilderness Reclamation. You're not wrong. 4 mana enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, untap all lands you control. Super ultra powerful one too. Banned in many forms. Like, I don't know about Commander players. You may not know this, but this card is banned in a lot of formats. Sad lost all its sparkle in lost all its sparkle in modern, but it could be back. It could come back one day. That day is just not today. Do people like day and night stuff? I need a poll. I don't like it in competitive Magic. Holy crap, it just makes me angry. Elixir, thank you very much for your super chat. Milliken. Is that the one you can exchange counters for mana? 2 mana for an artifact, creature, construct. Tap, mill a card. Oh, you mill a card and add mana. See, the difference between this and the other, like, mana ramp is, like, it has some, like, weird thing. You need to mill the card first. Like, that's part of the cost to add the mana. Liliana? Which Liliana? The original one? Oh, maybe the original one. Liliana. The OG? Well, which one's the OG? I think the original one did add mana, right? Last Hope, Necromancer, Waker of Dead. Liliana Vess, the OG Liliana. She's like, why was I born to do this? 5 mana for 5 loyalty. +1, target player discards a card. -2, search your library for a card, then shelf your library and put that card on top of it. No, it does not add mana. Which Liliana adds mana? I swear there's one that does. Maybe I'm wrong. Turn. I don't know the Liliana that adds mana, so you know what? Just gonna have to say no to Liliana. Have we done Witch Engine? Arethusa? Yeah, we did Witch Engine. Islarf, Carmen. Carmen, Cruel Sky Marcher. You can turn your fetch lands. Okay, we got a 5 mana 2/2 Vampire Soldier. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on Carmen, Cruel Sky Marcher, and you gain 1 life. Whenever Carmen attacks, return up to 1 target permanent card with mana value less than or equal to Carmen's power from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yeah, you return the fetch lands. You get them ramping going on. Liliana the Dark Realms. Okay, let's look up Liliana of the Dark Realms. We're gonna save. We gotta save Xenotail. Oh, you actually corrected yourself. Okay, 4 mana for a 3 loyalty Liliana. +1, search your library for a swamp card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Well, that's not really ramp yet. Oh, but there's an emblem, -6. You get an emblem with swamps you control have. Holy moly! I remember it was ramp, but I didn't know it was crazy nuclear ramp. You tap the swamps, add quadruple black to your mana pool. Now that is an emblem. That's an ultimate if I've ever seen one. Okay, we got Steve Cooper. Horizon Stone. And donate 1 to chat. Is a colorless upswelling. 5 mana artifact. If you would lose unspent mana, that mana becomes colorless instead. If you would lose unspent mana. What the hell? Oh, so but we get to keep it. I'm guessing. I'm assuming if we can't keep it, it's no good. Christopher B with an offer you can't refuse. Okay, so what Christopher B is saying here is this is a blue instant. Counter target non-creature spell, and its controller creates 2 treasure tokens. We are going to counter our own card. Okay, in response, I'll play a counter spell. But it's not for you, it's for me, because I'm going to counter my own counter spell with an offer you can't refuse. You've fallen straight into my trap. Blue's ramping now, boys and girls. We're ramping now. Blue's cooking with fire. What a silly card. Okay. We did Mana Drain. I don't think we did the Tiller Engine, though. If Path works, this works. Oh, absolutely, it works. Okay, 2 mana for a 1/3 construct. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. Untap that land. Tap target non-land permanent an opponent controls. How is this mana ramp? Tap it. So we get to untap that land. Oh, it triggers. So, okay, if I put a regular land in play, I can tap it in response to the trigger. And and I guess untap. Am I allowed to do? I'm certain I can do that. So I can tap it for float of mana, and then we'll untap and we get another mana. Very I guess it works in that sense. Tiller Engine is insane with bounce lands. I don't doubt it. It's like a super. It's literally just another Amulet of Vigor. Okay, it's super chat time. It's super chat time. Elixirs Zhang. Yangu. What a bright young kid. Great future ahead of this kid. 5 mana for a 4 loyalty Yangu. +1. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. -1. If you don't control a creature named Mo-Wu, create a legendary 3/3 green hound creature token named Mo-Wu. We got Mo-Wu over here. Maybe Mo-Wu gonna make a comeback in Bloomborough. -5. Until end of turn, target creature gains trample. It gets +X/+X, where X is the number of lands you control. This is not mana ramp. There's nothing ramping about this. This is the wrong Ji-Yang. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter has tap. Oh, okay. Oh, maybe I just... Did I F that up? I think I F'd that. Okay. Maybe it's all me. It's on me. Anyway, this one works. 3 mana, 3 loyalty. Your +1/+1 creatures are now Birds of Paradises. And -1, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature. Gonna help us ramp. Okay, next up. Ryan Seth with the Fanghorn tree. Oh, did we do Fanghorn? I think we did Fanghorn. The Tree Shepherd. Yeah, we did Fanghorn. Sorry about that, Ryan. We're gonna donate that one. We'll give it to Jesus Patino with the Junk Winder. Junk Winder is 7 mana, 5/6 Serpent. Affinity for tokens. Whenever a token enters the battlefield under your control, tap target non-land permanent opponent control. It does an untap during its controller's next untap step. Not mana ramp. Affinity is cost reduction. Okay, Accesta with Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Specifically for its it's +1. It's draw a card, then at the beginning of the next end step, untap 2 lands. So at end of turn, you can float 2 mana. It will trigger, and then you get the mana. And then I guess you can spend it on a Shark Typhoon or something. Next super chat from Marcos. Thank you very much, Marcos. Cartograph's Hawk. Cartograph's Hawk. All the white ramp is weird, asking to check other players. Alright, 2 mana for a 2/1 flyer. When Cartograph's Hawk deals combat damage to a player who controls more lands than you, return it to its owner's hand, and if you do, you may search your library for a Plains card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. 100% that is weird ramp. Super strange, in fact. Stormwing. Took me long enough to learn why Harrow was good. I think this is just regular ramp, though. Okay, it's an additional cost to cast the spell, sack a land. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. I honestly don't think that's that weird. Sorry about that, Stormwind. I'm going to donate your suggestion. Crucible Worlds is not technically mana ramp. I mean, neither is Night of the Reliquary. Under very weird circumstances would that be ramp. SD Shogun, Gift of Estates. Okay, this is a 2 mana sorcery. If an opponent controls more lands than you, search your library for up to 3 Plains cards, reveal them, put them into your hand. Doesn't put them on the battlefield. That one's disqualified as well. King Arthas with the Mana Bond. Okay, green enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, you may reveal your hand and put all land cards from it onto the battlefield. If you do, discard your hand. What a crazy mana ramp card. That absolutely works. Okay, you know, let's do a few more. Who hasn't got a card yet? Double land, burgeoning. Burgeoning. Green enchantment. Whenever an opponent plays a land, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. What a banger. Laurie with From the Ashes. 4-mana sorcery to destroy all non-basic lands. For each land destroyed this way, its controller may search their library for a basic land card put onto the battlefield. Then each player who searched their library this way shuffles it. How is that ramp? Destroy non-basic lands for each land destroyed this way, its controller put onto the battlefield. Then each player... That actually doesn't work at all. You're just replacing the lands, really. David with Honor Worn Shaku. Come on, I know there's some good cards out there still. There has to be. 3-mana artifact. Tap for a colorless. Tap an untapped legendary permanent you control. Untap your Honor Worn Shaku. I will count that. So it's basically like a... Well, I wouldn't call it Soul Ring. It's not very cheap to play. It's very, very expensive. We still going. Okay, we got... What else do we have here? We got Big Bane Wreckers with the Claim Jumper. 3-mana, 3/3 Vigilance. ETB. If an opponent controls more lands than you may search your library for a basic, for a Plains card and put it on the battlefield tapped. Then if an opponent controls more lands than you, repeat this process once. If you search your library this way, you have to shuffle it. That definitely works. You don't have a card? Oh wait, we just did that one. I just got it. I just got you. I got you, fam. I got you, Coffee Crew. Then, continuing the clue deck weird ramp. Tier Rissier Devastation? Okay, 4-mana X, sorcery. You lose X life and create X. Tap Power Stone tokens. Then all creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. Oh god. For each artifact you control. That is definitely weird mana ramp. Okay, we have another super chat from Ryan Saf. Thank you so much for your super chat. Yurlock. Oh, did we get Yurlock? No, I don't think we got Yurlock. The Scorch of Thrash. But all it does is, it's actually not a very interesting mana ramp card. It's just, oh no, well, each player, I guess, that gets the mana. That's the difference. Pay 1, tap, each player adds triple mana. So instead of just one person, we all get it. And we don't lose it either. So if you don't lose it, you don't lose... Oh no, so you do lose it. Player losing unspent mana cause that player to lose life. It's not good for them. Christopher B. Goblin Airbrusher. 2 mana for a 2/1. Whenever you place a sticker, create a treasure token. If it's an art sticker, create 2 treasure tokens. Oh god, that is so weird. It's only weird because of the damn stickers. Arjun, how about Knight of Sweet's Revenge? Did we do this one? I guess not. 4 mana. ETB, create a food token. Foods you control have tap, add a green. And also you can pay 5 mana, sack it. Creatures you control get +X until end of turn. Rex is the number of foods you control. Alright, I think that's good. It's a good way to end the show. Alright, the weird ways to add mana. You know, you don't have to do it the conventional way. You can go the super weirdo way. And as usual, my Coffee Crew, we do this 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks to everyone who supports the channel. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you support the show with Super Chats, or support the show by helping other people be part with Super Chats. Use Super Chats so other people can be part of the show. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here this morning. What do we have? Blink Somniac, Song of Dryads is the last one. Song of Dryads. Getting in here at the last second here. Enchanted. Oh, oh yes, in theory, you could enchant your own creature, and it's a forest. That is a weird way of ramping in the game. All right, thank you, Coffee Crew. Thank you, Old Boy, Hey Jesus. We got Rot Boy, Blink Somnic, Ryan, King Arthaz, not to be mistaken also with other kings like King Ginger, Steve Cooper, Cerise, David, Christopher B, the King Ginger, Tea House, Sounds, and more. Thank you so much for being here today. And as usual, my Coffee Crew, keep brewing up them coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.